कोविड-19 ज़ाहिर है अगर ये कहा जाए कि इस वक्त दुनिया को हालिया तारीख में सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज कौन सा दरपेश था और है और अल्लाह जाने कब तक रहेगा, तो इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है कि वो कोविड-19 है। अब ये भी एक हकीकत है कि ये कोरोना कहीं जा नहीं रहा, समझ में नहीं आ रहा कि इसका कब खात्मा होगा। ये हर दूसरे दिन, हर तीसरे महीना किसी न किसी नई शक्ल में, किसी न किसी नए नाम से सामने आ रहा है। तो अब जो हमारे बस में है, जो इंसानों के बस में है, जो हुकूमतों के बस में है, जो रियासतों के बस में है, वो है कि इसका तदारुक कैसे किया जा सकता है, इससे लड़ा कैसे जा सकता है, इससे बचा कैसे जा सकता है। उसमें ज़ाहिर है एहतियात है, सबसे पहली चीज़ मास्क लगाना, सैनिटाइजर इस्तेमाल करना है वो। और सबसे बड़ी चीज़ जो कि कल आप देख रहे होंगे कि असद उमर साहब ने भी कहा, पाकिस्तान का जो मुताल्लिका इदारा है NCOC, उसके सरबराह ने, कि इसके बचाव का एक ही तरीका है, या अगर मैं अपनी ज़बान में कह लूँ तो इसके बचाव के 3 तरीके हैं, वैक्सीन, वैक्सीन और वैक्सीन। इसके अलावा और कोई चीज़ नहीं है जो हमारे हाथ में हो। और ये डेटा प्रूव करता है, आप बेशक आप अपनी तसल्ली के लिए खुद जाकर भी अगर आप चेक करना चाहें या मुताल्लिका इदारों से पूछना चाहें कि इस वक्त जिन भी अस्पतालों के मरीज़ भरे पड़े हैं कोविड पेशेंट से, उनमें अक्सरियत की तादाद उन लोगों की जिन्होंने वैक्सीनेशन नहीं करवाई। तो डेटा बता रहा है पूरी दुनिया में कि जब आप वैक्सीन लगवा लेते हैं तो अपने आप को बहुत महफूज कर लेते हैं। मैं आज यहाँ पर कराची के इस मकामी अस्पताल में मौजूद हूँ और ज़ाहिर है कोरोना चूँकि एक आलमी एक फिनोमेना है, तो उससे निपटने के लिए भी दुनिया के तमाम लोग अपना अपना किरदार अदा कर रहे हैं और ज़ाहिर है इसी में यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका भी है। मैं इस वक्त यहाँ पर इस मकामी अस्पताल में यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका के कॉन्सल जनरल मार्क स्ट्रॉ मेरे साथ मौजूद हैं, ताकि हम उनसे ये जान सकें कि यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका ने इस ज़मीन में पाकिस्तान को क्या दिया है, कितनी वैक्सीन की डोनेशन दी हैं और प्रिसाइसली क्या किया है इस आलमी, चूँकि ग्लोबल चैलेंज है, ये किसी एक मुल्क का मामला तो है नहीं। और ज़ाहिर है ऐसी तमाम तर चीज़ों में आप सुनते होंगे वज़ीर आज़म साहब भी कह रहे होते हैं कि जनाब बड़े ममालिक को आगे आना चाहिए और बाकी ममालिक को हेल्प करनी चाहिए। तो हम ज़रा इनसे पूछते हैं कि इन्होंने अब तक क्या किया है और क्या नंबर्स हैं सारा कुछ। सो ज़ाहिर है इनसे बात करने के लिए मुझे अंग्रेज़ी का सहारा लेना होगा। सो टुडे इन दिस सेगमेंट वी हैव एज आवर गेस्ट US Consul General Mark Stroh. Thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure.
How are you?
Fantastic. Good.
And how is the experience in Pakistan going as a Consul General?
Experience in Pakistan is fascinating. It's my second time here, and I'm excited to be back.
You find the people here
incredibly warm, incredibly hospitable, incredibly responsive. Absolutely.
Great. And then if you can tell us about this like vaccination awareness program. So to start with, if I can exactly ask you that what exactly have you done precisely in the province of Sindh regarding this vaccination donation program?
Absolutely. Well, obviously the COVID challenge is one that affects every nation on the world.
Yeah.
And from the minute I got here, I made it a top priority of myself and the consulate to do everything we could to support the anti-COVID efforts of primarily Sindh Minister of Health, but also in Baluchistan as well. So my arrival coincided with a very large tranche of vaccine donations from the people of the United States around the world, and particularly here in Pakistan. So to date, the US government has provided to Pakistan for free over 25 million vaccine doses of Pfizer and Moderna vaccine.
Okay.
This is the largest donation to any country in the world.
Oh, really?
And what we're doing here in Sindh in particular is working with Sindh Minister of Health, with the medical professionals and opinion leaders to raise awareness about 2 things. Number 1, the work that the US and Pakistan are doing together to provide these life-saving vaccines, and secondly, to challenge vaccine hesitancy and make sure that every member of every community in Sindh has accurate information and knows that these vaccines that are being provided are safe, healthy, and effective. They should tune out the disinformation and go ahead and come to a hospital like the Dow University of Health Sciences where we are here today and go ahead and get vaccinated.
So when you say like that you have provided 25 million vaccines, Rafi, and I'm really surprised to know that this is the largest vaccine donation from United States of America to any other country. That's what you said, right?
That's right.
And of course, Pakistan is a nation with 22 million population, including infants and everything. So is there any plan to send more vaccines?
I would absolutely anticipate additional vaccine doses to come here to Pakistan. President Biden has committed to donating worldwide 1.1 billion vaccines to the world by the end of 2023. And so I would anticipate vaccines coming from the American people to many, many countries in the world. And there's one calculus really that determines where we send the most vaccine. That's population size, and obviously, as you noted, Pakistan has a very, very large population, and the ability of that country to effectively manage, maintain, and administer those vaccines. And I'm proud to say that here in Pakistan, the health professionals have done a fantastic job making sure that each and every vaccine that we donate here to Pakistan ends up in the arm of someone that needs it.
Okay, so of course we know that in the current scenario, vaccines are the most effective thing to control coronavirus. But of course there are certain other measures as well. So if I may ask you that vaccines are the only thing United States of America is doing for controlling coronavirus, or there are some other things as well?
Not at all. And obviously vaccines are critically important now.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate enough that my arrival coincided with a large number of increased vaccine donations. But since the start of the pandemic, well before we had a really good, safe, viable vaccine, the United States has provided more than $63 million in public health assistance to the fight against COVID. This has included large numbers of critical personal protective equipment for our healthcare providers and frontline workers, over 1 million N95 masks, approximately 96,000 surgical masks, large numbers of pulse oximeters, over 1,200, so that we can test the oxygen levels in the blood of victims of COVID, large numbers, over 1 million, I believe, of rapid diagnostic tests. Obviously, testing is critically important to find out where the COVID is, where it needs to be fought. Additionally, some 200 ventilators have been provided to 64 hospitals across Pakistan, and we've trained about 600 healthcare workers in the safe and effective operation of those ventilators. And perhaps most importantly, we've helped to establish and train over 155 mobile rapid response and disease surveillance teams. So these are the really critical frontline workers that are going out into the communities, trying to find where the vaccine is and where the health response needs to flex in cases where we see sort of a COVID hotspot, if you will. And look, this health assistance is part of a very long story of cooperation in the areas of public health with the U.S. and Pakistan, and I'm very proud to be here today to talk about that with you.
Great. And again, as you told about the vaccines, that in future there is a plan for more vaccine donations as well. So like in vaccines, there is also a plan that if required, more assistance would be provided by United States in the things other than vaccines as well?
That's my expectation, and that's my hope. We know that we have an incredibly strong, incredibly effective partner here in Pakistan. We know that we have a population that is very, very large and definitely needs as much support as we can provide to it. And we're here to work with Pakistan together, because if one country in the world is dealing with the COVID pandemic, then there's a threat to every country. So we're here to stand with Pakistan to beat this pandemic here in the United States and anywhere it comes up.
And in this regard, you are how much satisfied you are from the response on the government level and on the masses level?
I'll tell you, the government here, Sindh government in particular, with whom I've had very close and collegial relations since I arrived, has been fantastic. You see, now I've been to 4 vaccine centers across Sindh. This is the 4th one I've been to since I arrived. And uniformly, you see incredibly dedicated frontline workers, extremely effective organization, a very good messaging campaign. We heard today from the Sindh Health Minister, they're now changing some of their tactics. They're going out into communities. They're working to identify places where they know that the vaccine rates have been lower than some other communities and targeting vaccine efforts there. So there's been an incredibly effective, incredibly productive COVID response here, and it makes it really a pleasure and a real fortune to be able to work with them.
And towards the end, because you have been into this, so if I ask you, what's the biggest challenge so far, and how can we deal with that? Your observation. Yeah,
I think the biggest challenge worldwide, and this isn't unique to Pakistan, but certainly it's something we're facing here and something that I've discussed with the health minister, is vaccine hesitancy. Yeah. And so we're trying to do everything we can to bring out new voices.
So you're taking on more different segments of the society, so that.
That's right. We've partnered with actors, entertainers. We sat here today with leaders from the faith communities of Hindus, Sikhs, Christians, Parsis, and Muslims, because we know that faith leaders can be an incredibly convincing voice to members of their communities to fight that hesitancy and get that vaccine. That continues to be the biggest challenge. We have a ways to go, but we're going to keep at it.
And it's working out?
I certainly think so.
Thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you. Pleasure to be with you.
Likewise. Thank you. So जनाब, कौंसल जनरल बता रहे हैं कि ये बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग बात है कि यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका ने दुनिया के किसी भी मुल्क से ज़्यादा पाकिस्तान को वैक्सीन की डोनेशंस दी हैं, और इस वक्त اس کورونا کی وبا سے اگر لڑنا ہے تو اس کا ایک ہی طریقہ ہے، وہ ہے ویکسینیشن. اب ضرور ویکسینیٹ کروائیے اپنے آپ کو تاکہ اس وبا سے آپ خود بھی محفوظ رہ سکیں، آپ کے چاہنے والے محفوظ رہ سکیں، آپ کے بچے محفوظ رہ سکیں، آپ کے ماں باپ محفوظ رہ سکیں، آپ کا معاشرہ محفوظ رہ سکے، یہ ملک رہنے کے لیے ایک بہتر جگہ ہو، یہ دنیا رہنے کے لیے ایک بہتر جگہ ہو.